What is up, guys? Bachman's Garage back at you again with another video. Today I wanted to discuss some stuff about blasters. This is my 2006 Race Ready Blaster 200. It's got pretty good amount of modifications done to it, but more specifically today I wanted to speak about performance modifications and the best modifications for blasters. So we're going to start from kind of the cheaper end to the more expensive end of modifications, but we're only going to be focusing on performance or stuff to make the quad just run better, not so much aesthetics or handling or traction such as tires. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to get into. So the cheapest thing to start off, you can either do an air filter or you can do an aftermarket air box. They're fairly inexpensive, around $100 to $150, depending on what filter combination you go with. Airbox makes them breathe a lot better, but you must jet a carburetor to accept either exhaust or airbox, so keep that in mind. Definitely cheaper than the airbox and air filter combination would be the oil block off, which I'm also showing you in here. There's no more oil tank. Not only does it help with the efficiency of the engine, so that way if you blow an oil pump you don't damage your engine. You mix your fuel so that way you can't damage your engine from poor lubricity as long as you mix your oil the correct way. If you don't mix, then that's kind of your own fault. But it also reduces, if I'm not mistaken, about 4 pounds, 5 pounds if the oil tank is completely full. So that's just a good little thing to remember. The next would probably be exhaust system, just because everybody likes to hear their bike sound a little bit better. I personally have a Toomey B1 exhaust system. It is, if I'm not mistaken, the most expensive exhaust system you can purchase for a blaster. When I purchased mine before they had sales and deals and stuff, it cost right around $650. I know now you can get them for like $450 and $500. I kind of wish I would have waited to save some money, but at the same time, it is what it is. Next, I would have to say reeds. These are V-Force 4 reeds. You can get V-Force 3 reeds. Boysen rad valves with the aluminum block and all that. It's more or less preference. Reeds are definitely a great way to get two strokes to breathe better, suck more fuel and air. Just, it opens them up. So next would be a Tor's Eliminator kit. Remove that whole block of aluminum that's above your carburetor, and it just makes a little bit more simpler to operate. It operates more like a race bike, not so much like a restricted trail quad, and it also reduces a couple of pounds. E-brake block off, that goes with that kind of, because it's, I think, interlinked into the same wiring system. That's like $15, but that's not really a performance mod, but I'll throw that in there. Next would be a lightened flywheel. This flywheel is not lightened. That is why I have the cover off. I'm purchasing a flywheel service that I have to remove this flywheel, put it in a box, ship it to them. They'll lighten it, make it look all pretty and everything, and they'll ship it back to me, and then I can install it and it's ready. So I'm purchasing that in the next hour or so, because of another part that I had purchased more frequently, but I'll get into that in a minute. So we have oil block off, we have reeds, airbox and air filter, exhaust system, lightened flywheel, and now I would have to go to your cylinder and piston. You can go 30 over, 10 over, 20 over. I think with a blaster, you can go all the way up to 90 over, which, if I'm not mistaken, 90 over is the equivalent to a Vito's 240 kit. Everybody gets confused when they say, oh, I have a 50 over blaster, that means it's a 250. No. Technically, without a completely remanufactured cylinder, you cannot make a blaster bigger than a 240 out of a stock cylinder, or if you purchase a Vito's cylinder, which I've heard good things about Vito's for short periods of time, but if you're trying to get any longevity out of a motor, I would definitely not go any more than 50 over on a blaster. I'm 30 over. And I personally love the way it feels. It's a stock cylinder that's machine 30 over, and it's got a Wiseco ProLite piston and rings in it, and it runs great. I still have a stock crank. In the future, I'd like to do a 3 mil stroker. And then if I'm not mistaken, I would have to move my cylinder up slightly with a thicker gasket, like the base gasket that is. So, also performance-wise, if you're trying to get a little bit of cooling power, they make these fins. They're supposed to direct air in to like past the exhaust and in through the fins to, keep air flowing better when you're moving faster. I don't know how well they actually work. I bought them because they were cheap and you could purchase them. It was something to get for a blaster. They do make a lot of stuff for blasters, but I just thought that they were kind of neat. So, like I said, I don't know if they really add a whole lot of performance, but yeah. The other thing that you can do other than boring is porting and polishing. This is not ported and polished, but, well, actually, it is slightly, but it's not ported and polished to the point where it's dramatic to add a whole lot of power. It more or less just made the power smoother. So it depends on how you port and polish. Other than what I've just showed you, I have a 310 main jet and a 217 pilot jet or something like that, or a 17 pilot jet. I can't even remember. It's been so long since I've done it. I haven't even cleaned this carburetor in like 2 years. This thing just fires up and runs perfectly every time I run it. I do regular maintenance, like I check the reeds and stuff, and the carb honestly doesn't get dirty. It's weird for how much dirt and abuse I put through this thing. I don't get a lot of debris in it, so I just never really clean it. Anyway, enough of me rambling there. The new part that I purchased is from Tack-Out Performance. It is the Performance toroidal head, I guess you would pronounce it. And you can see it adds 20 cc's, I guess, from displacement, like of how they machine the cylinder. You can see that it is actually inlaid in the cylinder. This is head, I'm sorry. This is a stock cylinder head, and they machine it, and it drops it down that far. I did not measure this. I have no idea how far it is. I'm not going to put their measurements out there because that's their own thing. But to compare it, this is a stock cylinder head, and it is raised, and the combustion chamber is also a lot smaller, but it's domed differently. So they claim that if you put this on a stock blaster, no jetting or anything, it adds 11 horsepower bolt on. I want to see exactly how close that is, because if that's the case, it should make mine an animal, considering from what I've been told from sheets. I've never had it dynoed, so I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to put it out there as a for sure number, but I was told I should be just making anywhere from 29 to like 31-ish horsepower. So if I put this on there, I'll be like 40 something with the lightened flywheel to reduce rotational mass, and it adds RPM. So I have no idea what kind of power this thing's gonna make, but yeah. So that's why I bought it. You can get these heads for roughly $200, I think, from Tack-Out Performance. They do great work. You can see this machine quality is really nice. Everything's nice and sharp. Everything seems to be flat. I mean, like I said, I haven't measured anything, but I'm happy with it. I'm going to bolt that on, hopefully, as soon as I get the flywheel come back. Put both of those on, and we're going to see what she does this year. So, thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions, please drop it in the comments, and maybe we can chat on there for a brief moment to see if I can help any of you guys out with anything that you need done to your blasters. See ya.